Bro, son of a bitch.
Right.
Yay!
You can't censor us, YouTube. You can't catch this.
All right, sweet.
Coming at you from a completely undisclosed location in Monaco.
If in Monaco.
We are gently buzzed in the desert. Coming at you from the basement under the dunes.
Excellent. Good. But that was cool too. I said it as like a joke, but isn't it fun just to sit here, talk as like friends, all of us in the same room? Like we just me and Jamie just worked out today. Say what?
I am not a
You're my best friend.
Best friend?
I mean, Wayne's my best friend.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that a threat?
No, you, him. I'll put him through.
Are those prescription? Are those prescription glasses?
No.
They're just fake glasses.
Yeah.
What are they doing in my house?
Oh,
You look sophisticated.
no, you look like your father.
I love these. And then we'll slap these on.
Okay, now you know how I feel when I have to wear glasses.
Jess, these look like your glasses.
My sister compared these to prison
Yes.
glasses.
I can't wear all three of them.
Brand new. I didn't just pull them out of a closet.
It looks like you did. They're blurry as hell.
I think you're an idiot.
I can't see it. Oh, they're all dusty, scratchy. I want to talk to you about your motherfucking shipments.
Don't you ever talk to me about my shipments.
I still don't know what they do. Well, they just run it. Yeah, the peaky. They bring in what booze.
I've got a metal shop. They do.
Yeah, where they walk by it every episode to that theme song.
Yeah.
That's
I've got a metal shop. They do liquor, and they do business with the Jewish guy.
no, but before that, they were just illegal gambling on races. Is that what they were doing?
I don't recall. I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
Oh, well, that's pretty much what it is. So I think they just had this business from the Shelbys because they were already doing. The way they mentioned their name were like, the Shelbys have always been involved in illegal activity. Because like that Irish copper, he's been hanging out the end of a rope since he was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, but like I was telling Jamie earlier in the car, I was like, I really like the style, like that 1920s. Like you got the suit and then the overcoat and then another overcoat. Maybe you got your hat on there and you got everyone's pipe smoking. Or they had those like rollable like cigarette things. How do they get those cars? You might know. How do they get those old fashioned cars?
Oh, people have saved them. A lot of the 20s A-frames like that, Ford A-frames.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Model A's. Were actually chopped up for hot rods and rat rods in like the early 50s, Jamie? Yeah, people taking those and chopping them up, cutting the roofs off of them, making them shorter, making them longer, cutting all of them up, and then they race them, wreck them, and then they buy another one because there was so many of them.
Good gracious.
Like my grandpa, like my uncle Jerry, right?
Yeah.
They restored them. They kept them. They bought them, didn't touch them. Just maintained it, kept it the same way forever.
But eventually you're going to run out of those. Then we're never, ever. That was a sad thought. We're never, ever going to have movies like that. At one point, you're going to have the 1920s is going to be like Neanderthal times. And they're going to be like, why would we go there? We could just talk about the stupid people who were in 2020. Like, remember when Trump was president and we had coronavirus the same year? It was hilarious. It's going to be the best SNL skit for like years to forever. They're going to be like, hey, remember that time like 20 years ago we were idiots? Yeah, I still do. Isn't that sad?
Are you going to be playing this like for our grandkids someday, you think?
They could be. I was thinking.
You don't watch that with your eye if we use a computer screen?
Yeah, that's like where's the uphill from here? Like, because like I can imagine you go computers and you go social media, and then from social media you go to like YouTube and get like, it's just people like this is just like the 1% of what this is gonna be, And I'm like, well, what's the 100%? Like, I can't see anything else past what's already happening right now.
I think. Have you seen the show The Feed on Amazon?
Nope.
Oh, it's good.
The-
It's amazing.
The feed?
The Feed.
Is that where you die and you think you go to heaven, but you're actually just uploaded?
That's a
No,
different
but
Amazon
that's
show.
good too.
Oh.
That Amazon show. I have it.
If not, you know why? Because they're worth billions.
Their trailers are crisp.
They got good
But
Christmas.
no, in The Feed, this guy's family, right? They invented
I've never seen it. So, yes, go ahead.
It's every social media platform. It's everything. Or under your nervous system.
Oh, shit. And that rich
So,
family owns it. Yeah.
Left eye. And then you just watch YouTube videos and you're sitting there having a boring conversation.
Is that when people start to seize out?
Mm-hmm.
I think I started that with you guys.
That you did. That is the next step.
That's horrible.
The only device smarter, in my opinion, is no device at all.
Yes. Jennifer Biscuit. Well, isn't that embedded in your brain? The feed? Don't they put it in? Don't they put it in you?
No,
Yeah,
they
but
put
the way
in
to
your
get rid
eyeball.
of it is like
The optic nerve.
kill yourself or stab your eye.
Because it's attached to your nerve endings in your eye.
You good, Jamie?
Mhm.
You good?
You tired?
A little bit.
Well, you know what? You know what pep you up? Joining the Peaky Blinders.
You enjoying the Peaky Blinders.
I'm surprised.
Little opportunity here.
You.
So I talk really out of your nose and yell for no reason. Talk like
That's why I said that. You don't talk like the Peaky Blinders. You talk just like I just said that so weird. You said that like Tom Hardy talks to them, like the hybrid Jewish mix of English.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how you talk.
Seriously? Because I was trying to do Arthur Shelby.
Nope, you were talking just every time you speak. I go, oh look, it's Tom Hardy,
That is my best Arthur Shelby impression, though.
and you have his face, like the hair. He has that big beard and the mustache. You know,
You think I look like Tom Hardy?
no, I don't think. No, I'm so sorry. You're not. You don't look like Tom Hardy, but you do have the
I
beard.
look like Tom Hardy.
And I said the beard because he has a long beard like that.
Well, yeah. Jewish people can't shave their beards. That's
Why?
why the electric clippers were invented.
Why can't they shave their beards?
Because the Old Testament, do you follow so religiously? There it is. That's not. Tells you a razor cannot touch the sides of your face. Or your face at all.
What? But a lot of that it just. But yeah, but a lot of that was like, okay, here's the message, and then usually gets explained later.
I'm just saying, you follow the Bible, you can't pick and choose what parts you like.
Well, no, like you'd say, don't eat animals with cloven feet
No.
because they like pigs. They have like a lot of. They can gather disease.
It's because they can't sweat.
Yeah, so they carry disease. That was like the later explanation. So like if you have the statement of,
But they didn't know that.
I know God did. So it makes me think like, what's the other meaning behind not shaving your face as a Jewish person? Is it for your family?
You can,
Is it for?
you can trim like everything, but these like your sideburns, your sidelocks. I don't know why. But that's why a Jewish guy actually invented the electric razor. Because you're not using a razor to shave your face. You're mowing it down.
Let's see. Electric razor inventor.
Your job is telling you to shave. Claim to be Jewish.
I cannot stand it.
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Today in history, May 13th, 1930, patented the electric razor.
Oh yeah.
Don't spoil it for me, but does Peaky Blinders go generational, like years down the line? Or is it all based between like the 20s and the 30s?
20s and 30s.
Okay.
But it follows the same people. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that it does make sense because like the season 2 was like a year later,
Yeah.
and then, but there was a rumor that they were gonna have Hitler on there, like an early Hitler. Like, cause I don't know anything about it.
I feel so bad for the actors chosen for that role of Hitler and all these.
Apparently, people are stepping up. They really want to be Hitler.
Who out there is going to put on the resume? Oh, what did you have done?
I was Hitler and Peaky Blinders.
A very lovable Hitler, though. You can find me cheery and adorable. You played who? Hey, dog.
You'd find me so cheery, so adorable. I did it so swell.
I was a sprightly little scout named Hitler. In a musical all about the Third Reich.
Okay.
Did you say Hitler?
That's all they heard.
And also doing a commercial for Woody sunglasses?
They wouldn't. They wouldn't even check. They'd be like, "What show? We don't care.
I feel
We
like
don't
it's like
care.
ultimate career.
We don't care."
Hitler's still killing
Well, it's gonna be him before he was Hitler, like young, like or like third, like so it's after the war,
You can't
before he
swing
takes
that.
over.
You can't swing that.
In the picture, it looked like he didn't even have his mustache.
The Charlie Chaplin stash.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't even have that. So like early Hitler, maybe like a brief appearance or something. And I'm like, that's deep. You're like, oh, we're just a little street gang. We have razors in our hats. Let's go talk to Hitler about taking over the world.
Why did they have to throw in Hitler?
They're like,
You're
listen,
classy. You don't throw in Hitler.
we went from a 97% to a 94%. We need Hitler.
What's that on Family Feud? Okay. Number one answer brought to you by statistics are showing. Survey says Hitler. Hitler makes you get the theory.
Like I said, that'd be the one topic I wish we knew more about. Like, I remember it was very just broad stroke. Like, here's how it got to World War II. Here's a little bit about World War II. And then let's move on. Like, it was kind of like no one wants to talk about it. But I don't even know. Well, I mean,
They'll tell you everything about World War II.
well, I just meant like backstory of Hitler. Just more information. I like to learn more in depth about people and things that are relative to that. And most of it's just conjecture or rumors. Like, was he Jewish?
I don't know.
Is that a myth?
Actually, if you read Mein Kampf, which
Is that his
a
book?
Very infamous book. That's a book he wrote. He tells you about his upbringing.
Infamous
Really?
is the worst. Yeah, it is the best way to put it, though.
Yeah.
Not famous for
Isn't that book
It's-
like this big?
It's not that thick. A little less thick.
A little less.
It's about like that.
What's the name of it?
Mm.
Pages
Mein
on my
Kampf.
skin 'cause
What
I'm
does that
Jewish.
stand for?
My struggle.
Oh, okay.
I picture a 16-year-old edgy Hitler with the bangs going over the eye.
See, he actually had a
That's
very
not the
honorable
face,
upbringing, though. That's the thing about it. But the issue is, so like he like served in World War One and was like pretty well known as like a war hero because he had like survived a grenade explosion.
Okay.
But I forget what exactly happened, but around the time of the end of World War One, because of the reparations they had to pay Britain,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of political unrest.
Yeah.
And so, like, he was obviously a major part of that. And he got, like, arrested for being part of a protest. And so during his time he spent in prison, he was writing,
My struggle.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which describes, like, his struggle living in in a poor household
Mm-hmm.
and being a struggling artist, trying to make it in art school.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was where a lot of his struggles with, Jewish people started, because a lot of the successful people in the area were Jewish businessmen.
Yeah.
I forget if there were Jewish students at his school too, but he basically took that to heart and made it a part of
A
his-
big thing.
Made it, yeah, obviously, like, made it.
Well, in the show, because I looked it up, it is historically accurate with the people and the events and things like that, which gives a lot of leeway for Hollywood to fill in the gaps. But the two things that I took from the show, one, apparently being a war hero in World War One was a huge deal. They took it like the cops. They're like, we can't, but Thomas Shelby's a war hero. Like, what are we gonna do? And he was doing illegal activity, I guess, gambling. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was just illegal gambling, paying the cops.
Well, in real life, they were veterans of war, but they weren't even teenagers when they went. They needed everybody. But look up the age of the actual Peaky Blinders age. They were war vets, but they were like not even teens, I don't think.
Really quick, that book that you guys are just talking about is 720 pages.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like this big.
I can't go
My
near it. I'll
my-
put it in a flame.
my-
It's
July 18th of 1925.
My struggle. You know what the struggle is? Reading that fucking book.
bad. The paper cuts are horrible on the cuticles.
Okay, so if you would have, oh, spoiler alert, mother.
Look away. Just look up Peaky Blinders actual.
I did. It says Thomas Shelby, so he was born 1890, and the events of the show were, like 1919, 1920, so 30 years old, or late 20s.
How old was he when he started it?
It was his family tradition, remember?
It's not just his family; it's a bunch of kids.
But yeah, I just read because Grace is in the show, and it tells me they married in 24. So that means later in the season. Fuck, I'm not even close. But and that's the thing I never.
Loosely based off the show.
Well, and then so the first thing was being a war hero, and if you especially got a medal, you were like untouchable, or they thought twice. Like Winston Churchill, he would say that over and over. We can't touch him. He's a war veteran. He's stirring up some political trouble. They're going to rally behind him. We don't want to get on his bad side. So it was like honor was like a big thing. Being like respect was a huge thing. Like, and that spurred from that as well. But the second thing was, it was weird seeing a society without like a phone or like cameras and stuff, and people doing illegal activity and killing people. Like he was supposedly shot by this person who saw you days before near that place. You're like, that's a lot of like connecting the dots. Now we're like, yeah, we tracked your credit card information. You were here at this time. You were here. Like they could pinpoint a whole thing with our technology. And then it was like hearsay. It's like the cops heard. And then the cops were crooked, even though they were doing right in the most part. But they're like, they come by, they're off duty, but they're still a cop. And they're like, so when do you need the port closed? He's like, midnight to 4. I'm like, okay. And then they're gone.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And then they walk away. And I'm like, even the cops were crooked. Like, you can't. It makes me think, I'm like, how did we even get here? Like, now we're like, I don't even want to wear the mask. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? People were dying in the streets. They were throwing, what are those cans? Are those spit cans that they have just like near the bar?
No, they didn't have plumbing.
They did not just pee at the bar in the tubs.
And they would empty chamber pots.
Mm.
Not everywhere had plumbing.
Oh, yeah, they have these pots, and
They throw them out in the streets.
yeah, and they just walk through them in those nice ass suits. I'm like, what a waste. Look at their shoes.
They're just throwing tobacco out the window.
I thought it was like tobacco juice or
A spittoon.
like ding, like in
Yeah,
cowboy
I know
movies.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was just one of those.
Yep.
Well, I'm just saying, in season 1, when he bashed that dude's head in with one because he was getting attacked, that dude's lucky it was empty. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay, check this out. David Taylor, arrested at age 13 for carrying a loaded firearm, and was arrested with a description saying foul-mouthed young man who stalked the streets in drunken groups, insulting and mugging people. He was 13 years old. That's David Taylor. Remember, one of the big members of Peaky Blinders. Harry Fowles was arrested when he was 19.
They were way younger than all of us.
They were very young. Yeah.
No wonder they were called just a little ragtag street gang.
I'm trying to find the year. Look up Thomas Shelby age, or when he was born.
1890.
He was born in 1890.
Mm-hmm.
They were killing people in 1897. The gang was.
7-year-old.
That was their first kill.
Got ya.
I
I got ya.
That, then in the 70s, started becoming the Peaky Blinders. Turn of the century.
It's also fun because people are because to us it's like $1. They're like, if there's any bets over £1, let me know. And that was like a big deal. And it was like, it's like £1 was like $13 back then. I think the inflation rate's like 14%. So like I was like, how much is like, they were offering someone like £1,000, and they were like, we can do a honeymoon for the rest of our lives or something like that. And I'm like, that was close to like, I don't know, 30, 40,000, something ridiculous. I have a computer. I'll look it up.
That was during the Great Depression, too.
Before.
The Great Depression was in the 20s, was it not?
No, it started in 1929.
Yeah. So the 20s were like, everyone,
Yeah, the Roaring Twenties.
the roaring 20s, time to party. Let's see. I'm going to look it up. So it's 500 dollars in 19. It was 1919. Worth today. Explain.
Show, Jamie?
No, I don't watch TV.
Here we $500 in 1919 was about $8,000. You don't watch any TV?
No, I watch YouTube.
Little bit.
Watch
What?
our show?
You just say you're on camera. Just lie.
The show. Everybody watches the show.
Just say lie, and I lie.
And you walk away.
Yeah.
She died. She's busy, very busy, Miss Lizzie.
That's something else too. Why are British shows all short? Like Peaky Blinders has 6 episodes every season. The IT Crowd had 4 or 5 episodes every season.
I have no clue.
And they're called series.
I think with the exception of the British version of The Office,
Yeah.
British shows are funnier. On a whole.
Yeah, I don't actually like the the British version of The Office.
I hate it. I don't even like the normal version of The Office, but I'll take that over the British version.
Yeah, it's really dry. It's very dry, kind of like not even. It's not funny. It doesn't have the same chutzpah
It doesn't have the same.
as the new one. That's just my opinion, and all we talk about is television.
That's a fact.
But I do like that. Well, that's the closest thing me or you or any of us in this room are gonna get to experiencing 1920s, is in a 4K high def Netflix show. Like I'm never gonna be able to go back there. I mean, no one alive then is alive now.
Records.
Well, records, yeah. But like I could just Google it. But like, oh, if I can only imagine. If I just read on a paper. But if I get to watch it, then I get to see like little details. Like, oh, the war was a big thing back then. If you were in the war, you were somebody. Even though everybody was involved, right? There was a draft. So they were like, everyone went through the shit. But if you got medals from it, then you were like honorable.
13-year-old war vet, when I came back when you were 13.
Well, they said they were, and this was a true part of the story. They were tunnelers, so they would dig tunnels, and that's the reoccurring nightmare that Thomas Shelby has. So he smokes the opium pipe to go to bed
Yeah.
because he can still hear the tap of them digging through the tunnels as they're trying to like sleep under there, and like I'm like World War I sounded like a shithole. Like there was no chemical warfare. They would just get out of
There
here.
was no walk and leap bar.
Oh wait, I think I just might have mixed both World Wars together. World War II, World War One. I know they used
Chemical warfare was World War One.
that was World War One.
World War II that went by the wayside because aviation had advanced so far. They were just blowing everything up.
They could do it faster than the gas.
Yeah.
Okay, then that story was probably from World War One. They Joe Rogan had this guest on that was like he's really into biology, nature. I forgot exactly what he does, but he likes to go out and study these areas.
Yes, I just want his little black book.
Right. Of all the people.
Guess it, your throwaway guess. I'll even interview the guy that sells you hot dogs. You know what I mean?
They're like, Joe Rogan's really cool. Just like this hot dog guy.
Joe Rogan just made me see into a whole other dimension. Complete change of paradigm. Now instead of selling hot dogs, I'm a millionaire.
Well, the crazy thing is, and Joe didn't know this, the guest, his great-great-grandfather or something, maybe 3 greats, I don't know, was a prime inventor of finding out like chlorine gas was super deadly and deploying it in battle. So he would say like they would get like records and things like that. And he said they would just build enough, they would have a lot of it, and they would just, everyone would go to sleep, and they would just make a fog. And the fog would just slowly move. There had to be no wind. So just like a light little breeze, and then they would just release them, and then it was just this fog. And I mean, this doesn't sound very smart, but then the troops on the other end would get up and run through it, and then they would all just obviously drop because chlorine's deadly, like in gas form. So it just killed them all. And then after that, they would go, "Wow, let's keep exploring this." Then they found mustard gas, and then rest is history. What was that place in recent history, like 5 years ago, they got bombed with chemical warfare? Syria? Something like that?
Yeah,
Syria?
Yeah.
Was that something like that? Or was it actual bombs? So they were just releasing chemicals into the and
I
just
don't know, but wasn't there a
I
bomb?
think it was like in like released little grenades, I think.
and then they would just have this gas that would just kill people.
Yeah, and the government did that.
What's
The
one that
government?
recently?
Yeah, because there was rebels there.
Oh wow! I thought it was like an active war zone with some other place, not an actual government of Syria. I didn't know that at all. That was 5. I mean, it's 5 years ago.
What about
I was an idiot 5 years ago.
Didn't someone get bombed really recently, a couple months ago?
No,
Like in the video,
No.
there's people
Accidental.
flying up in the.
There's an accidental explosion at a Harvard.
Is
Are you
that
thinking
what it
about
was?
like Lebanon? I think it was.
Lebanon?
Lebanon, yeah. Okay, yeah. What was it? Firework factory?
Well, because I watched it slow down and it looks like it came from the sky.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. I've seen the slow down version.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, how much seedy stuff do you even get to know? Like, none of that James Bond stuff is going to be public information.
Okay.
So it makes me super, like, I'm not paranoid, but I just look around like, what's going on over here? What's over there? I'm like, I wonder if that guy could be a. Or like, I wonder if that thing that Spock does where he puts his finger right here and it
The mind meld?
paralyzes you. Guy! And you.
The Vulcan pinch.
Yeah, I wonder if you could have someone they just know. They walk up to you and they're like, "Yes, you're the target," and they just pinch you and you just drop. No. He's got dense. He's got dense shoulders.
Is that what
He's not.
It felt, ow, that hurt.
it works.
It felt good close to the neck, and then like you started to get down. to the
Yeah,
things
it's
out.
not right there. It's like right there in that nerve little.
But like, I just wonder how much seedy underbelly stuff is happening that we don't know about. And it's not like the government wouldn't make deals. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, listen, we're not gonna do this if you don't do that. Like, it doesn't surprise me there's people doing that. Just like
like the JFK thing.
well, Mission Impossible that's not American, is it? Is that American?
Produced by the Church of Scientology. It's about.
That was a big thing over where we're from, you know. They had that big sign of Scientology in Kansas City.
I'm telling you, we got to do that for an episode. I just want to go in there.
You are not infiltrating Scientology.
Scientology. Tell your friends to watch the show. If we get enough views on that, I will do it. I will definitely go in disguise. Join Scientology, and then leave before they find out I'm Jewish.
Is that a
I don't know
thing?
what they do.
They don't like Jewish people?
I don't know what they do. They're creepy. All I know is they give Tom Cruise the space fan boots. They gave Tom Cruise a lift kit.
The plates. The big plates he wears around his neck.
What I've been reading, they go after you if you go against one of them.
Oh, shocker.
So when
So you say, let's infiltrate and then go after him later.
Danny Masterson, the guy who played Hyde,
No.
he's in Scientology. His whole family is.
Son of a.
But when he joined, right, the reason he left the show, the ranch.
Sexual misconduct allegations.
The people that accused him, like not one but several cases, even Wikipedia this too, claim that Scientologists were going out there with like killing their dogs and slashing their tires. He said that the church would protect him. You can
That's
Wikipedia that.
That is weird.
They're so. I just want to know what they do. You know, I wouldn't shoot a dog or nothing.
Well, you can just tell it's fake. It was
I
written
just want to know what they do.
the moment they said, "Oh, who came up with Scientology?" and you tell about the guy, he goes, "Oh, he wrote more fiction." He did what Joe Rogan said. He didn't write a second draft in his fucking life. He just wrote first draft of nonsense. Yeah. So he's a bunch of these books that are just first draft nonsense, and then one of them, he's like, I could probably do something with this, and then it was just Scientology. I said, that sounds like enough to make me. Oh.
The Church of Scientology is my favorite sci-fi. It's the greatest science fiction show since Star Wars. You got Star Trek looking at Scientology.
Well, didn't they make a movie that was based on Scientology?
How would you know? You don't watch TV.
Did they?
Yeah,
Here.
there's a movie out there. I forget what it was, but I think it had John Travolta in it, who I think is also a Scientologist.
Yep.
Oh, come on. That's the edited version.
All I had to do was type in Scientology movie. It's called Battlefield Earth.
You want Scientology with me?
It was made in
What?
2000.
You go in there and pretend to be the Scientologist with me?
No, I like my
I
life.
didn't ask you. I don't have kids. Jamie and I don't have kids.
You have your life.
My life is here on the computer.
I would rather look that up because I bet there's something on YouTube about that.
Why the heck?
That's not close I could get.
Why the heck does John Travolta? He looks like Predator. He's got dreads.
Yeah,
He look.
Same
We got horrible reviews, by the way, so I don't think Scientology is actually very good sci-fi after all.
All I had to type in, I didn't have to type anything. I just typed in Scientology movie.
Other different
No, which one is it that have like the golden book sent from being from space?
from space.
Yeah.
Probably Mormonism.
Yeah, it's definitely Mormonism.
Yeah, because Mormonism is based in Utah and believes that Jesus was in America. And I don't know I don't know how the whole Jehovah's Witness thing got started though.
All I know is I was watching it the other day. It was one of the conspiracy videos, and they're like some being from space came down, threatened this guy, told him to put everything on gold. Here's the gold tablets with all the word on it. And lots of
I didn't hear
I
that.
know nothing about being a Mormon. No offense to any of our Mormon viewers out there.
It's all right.
I really don't know.
We just don't know.
Mormonism was started by this one guy, I can't remember his name,
David
who
something.
had a large following. They hiked across the U.S. all the way to Utah and started their whole thing in Provo or whatever.
All I know is that it was a. Yeah, you don't watch it. You don't watch stand-up comedy. But Joe Rogan did a bit about that. He goes, Scientology is the religion even Mormons can say is bullshit. They go, what? They go what? You believe that? Yeah. They're like, you're stupid. They're like, I think it's you're the center of. All I know is you're the center of your own universe, and I think through money, maybe some influence, you could be the center of that universe, which is enough to make me go. So L. Ron Hubbard just wanted some money.
It's the vaguest thing, wanting money, you know?
Scientology definition. The second one, by the way, is I typed in Scientology definition, and it says Scientology definition for dummies. That's the second search option. So there must be a dummies book.
How to join Scientology for dummies. I'm telling you, that would be the next Frost Nixon thing, you know?
Oh look,
Big.
look, we're on radar now. You know why?
We brought up Scientology.
Yeah,
Oh.
apparently they have Scientology.org, so it's an organization.
It's a conglomerate. It's not a religion. It's a great sci-fi novel.
And they don't even tell me. I'm like, oh, I want to.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I want to go in there, not actually join, but join. You know?
Here it is. Here it is.
I'll
Perfect.
go to their stupid little camp, even though my people have a bad history going to camps. But I will go to their stupid little science camp. And I'll convince them I'm somehow a Scientologist. I just want to know what they're about.
It says a religious.
I'll beard, but I'll do anything else.
A religious system based on the seeking of self-knowledge and spiritual fulfillment through graded courses of study and training. That's all it says. That's all it says. Invented 1955. 1955. Well, it seems reliable to me. I don't know about you.
Well, yes. Well, if you're what we do, you're the center of your own universe.
Well, you wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't make it. You know why none of us would? No, I don't think you're supposed to make it because one of the first things you do is basically like confession, but they record you and keep everything. So all of these famous stars probably just have loads of this information at Scientology. So then the immediate, okay, well now you can't.
Lie about your confession.
But
They record that so that they can blackmail you.
Yep. So that way, even if you even want to get out, they're like, remember that thing we have of you? Yeah, remember that? You can't get out.
Remember when you were actually 3'5"?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they treat it like a big therapy session.
But they secretly record you. Yeah, it didn't recently come out when people were like, "You have that?"
Here are your test results, and they correct you.
I mean, it's a pass a test.
When there's stages.
You gotta pass a competency test.
So when you get competent enough, then you can move up. But in order to move up, for example, Tom Cruise level move up with the gold plate, you have to pay thousands of dollars to the Church of Scientology. Red flag. They record you as blackmail. Red flag.
Does he have that giant gold plate like Flavor Flav everywhere he goes?
It's like an award ceremony. They give it to you. Congratulations, you have achieved stage 3 of enlightenment, or whatever they call it. And they give it to you, and there's pictures of Tom Cruise with the plate. Yeah, it's fun.
It's so weird. Why would you get into that?
That's what I want to know. That's what I'm talking. I want to infiltrate it so bad.
It has to be that they have maybe that money, they have power somewhere, and maybe as someone who feels they can't achieve anything or do anything,
Like
they
Tom Cruise.
would. I don't know. He's already a unique fella, but like if it was my situation and I thought about Scientology, which I never would, obviously from our talk, but if I felt like life was kicking the shit out of me, I was never going anywhere, I'm never going to go anywhere, and then I find a place that tells me I can be this and be that, and they can show me how to make enough money to go to the next stages and do this stuff because they've got connections somewhere. It's like a dark-seated Hollywood. It seems like in Hollywood you can be like, well, there's all that drama in Hollywood because I want to be famous. It kind of reminds me of that, but like now it's actually a religion, so you can't come after us. Also, they don't pay taxes. They don't pay taxes.
There it is.
They're classified as a religion, so they don't pay taxes. Perfect example of how the government also wants some moolah because they obviously read that and go, "This is horseshit." And they go, "How many members do they have?" And they're like, "A lot. They're making a lot of money." And then they're like, "Well, maybe we could do a little something, something. Maybe make a deal. We'll give them religious status, and then we'll say they're religious, and then it's a religion, and then maybe they'll do us a little bit here, a little bit there. Who knows?"
Benefit the government whatsoever if they don't pay taxes on it.
Anything regarding the influence of a large population of people, you bet a government entity is going to be involved. Like if someone has a big movement of people, someone's going to want to hop in there. Like I said, same, it's like the news. The news can sway things because they have such a huge amount of people that watch and trust and listen to the news.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be like the same thing. It's just anything that can gather attention, or like I don't care. It could be YouTube. Like it could be anything that gets a bunch of attention and people. Bing bang boom. Anything. Do you also bring money in? Well, you guessed you're on the radar. That's how I see fit.
I've never thought about it like that.
But all I am is a peaky fucking blinder.
Maybe Scientology is putting chemicals in the water to turn frogs gay.
I cannot.
Why do you keep falling? Why do you keep falling into this thing? Who cares if the frogs are gay?
Frogs are supposed to be gay.
I don't care. I don't care.
I just want to know what other kind of crazy stuff that guy talks about and how he comes up with that. Is it a mental illness, Alex Jones, or is it like a?
I think he's just a nutbag.
You think so? Good old fashioned looking.
Do you know who we're talking about?
Loops?
He's that conspiracy guy. Has a real raspy voice like this. Kind of like a deep, scratchy voice. It's deep and scratchy. How do you know him but not know what his voice sounds like?
Because I was just looking up crazy conspiracies to debunk for the show, and I came across government putting chemicals in the water to make the frogs gay. I was like, that's stupid enough I can talk about that. There's some people out there wanting to
Honestly, that dude's lucky as hell. He's lucky that he has. So he can't be like, that's the good thing about being popular. If you're a conspiracy person and you're popular, and then
like us.
we don't go that in depth. We're not. He'd be willing to go into Scientology as somebody else and like infiltrate it, pay all the money.
That's what I'm telling you I would do.
That's horrible because
I have money.
he has all the radar. Like everyone's tracking his movements. He's lucky he's big enough to afford probably extensive security to protect him on a 24/7 basis. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I was that guy.
He's a famous enough conspiracy theorist.
Well, it's because he found.
Nobody's after him.
Well, but you told me
He's that big of a.
he keeps he'll find things because he has resources to go and like experience, like to infiltrate things, and then he'll be like, "Yep, I got it all on video," and they're like, "You're on our list, buddy." Like the moment you're not looking, you're gone. That's where you go if you try and infiltrate Scientology. I don't know if it's look it up. Scientology.
Hillary Clinton or Scientology was behind it. Okay, it wasn't suicide.
It was.
It wasn't. It was the Clintons or it was Scientology.
Oh yeah, it's there. They passed it. I didn't know if they passed it or not. The for them to have the sign. So they were trying to make people were trying to say that you can't put something that we don't believe on the top of the on the top of the building, because now it's in any skyline picture. So like you have the beautiful Kansas City skyline. Well Yeah, now if you take a picture of it, you'll see Scientology above it. It looks smaller than what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a giant, brightly lit sign that was like, beep, 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 like glowing Scientology. But now it's just like a little sign on top of the roof.
Side is now literally the center of your own universe.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's still there in the skyline. It's on like the corner. And it's a pretty big facility, if I may add, for Kansas City for the skyline. But oh look, it has a Google review of 3.3.
Scientology can't pay people.
You little hamster wheels spinning your webs.
Well, the donuts were great, but
Oh look,
then they blackmailed me.
it closed. It closed on a Sunday.
Let's go. Gotta go.
God, I love Google. Tells you like, oh, what's? I don't know if I like it. It's got a 3.3. I don't know if I think I'd enjoy it. And then you're like, but we could test it. It's open till 10. You know, like it's just like, is it a business or is it a religion?
What you really want to look for is Scientology in Michigan. That's where it's popping.
Oh look, now they also have advice. Here we go. Remember what I told you last episode? How people take over areas like ISIS? How they would take over an area? They make it prosperous and give all the good back. Well, on the 27th, September 27th, they have a how to stay and get well during these tough times of COVID, and that lesson's on Sunday and Monday. And so you're like, oh joy, look at them helping the community. I'm like, eat it. I don't.
Weird.
Oh wait, that's just every sermon they ever do. How to stay well during these tough times.
Do they do sermons? Are they called preachers or Scientologists?
It's called a service. It says Sunday service was today.
No shit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, are you a business? Google thinks you're a business. Are you a religion? Government thinks so.
I wonder if they have like certain like Baptist churches will have like the people shaking and falling on the ground and everything like that.
Like, but I get like in Borat,
Yeah.
and they try and do it to him. He goes like this.
Exactly.
They start doing the tongue thing to him. He goes like this. He goes, just starts freaking out like they do. I don't know. I don't know.
Start yelling out blackmail from other people. You know.
They're like, hey, we know about you. Remember that? They're like, well, shut up.
Kevin Spacey went black. When the
Yeah.
I know
You're like, you went to Epstein Island. What?
that. Room 3.
I was
And then
never.
you see guys in suits go down. Look at that.
Just start doing the
Oh,
Borat.
it's not even human. Okay, that guy right there. Take a look at that.
All right, I hate to be this frank, but I gotta take a dump like no other,
Okay.
and we've been going for an hour and a half.
Have we really?
Yeah,
How many people commented? How many people viewed?
I'll let you know when I get this one figured out.
Alright.
But but the last thing is Borat 2 has a movie.
No shit.
It's a real thing. So
Borat too?
Really?
yep, it
I'm very
it-
excited.
it finished before COVID, so they got most of it filmed and we're done. And my buddy at work sent me the link for it, and I look. It doesn't have a trailer or anything yet because they haven't done anything with it. But you know how confusing that is for Sacha Baron Cohen. You're in a disguise, and then people recognize Borat. So guess what Borat 2 is about? He's Borat in disguise. So he's in a disguise wearing a disguise. He's
Sounds like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
he is full James Bonding this thing. He is full on.
I love it. Talk, we gotta have you on the show.
That'd be awesome. I would love to meet people like that.
That's how I'll accept that we are actually a podcast.
You're like, yeah, we actually made this guy. They're like, what?
And we got Borat, okay?
Did you like all the Borat shit I put in the other one?
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice. Just a couple of things looking to post up a black ass. Bang, bang, skeet, skeet. Couple of things not post.
He's at the high white tidies just up there to his chest.
Hey Chase, what do you listen to? What kind of music you listen to, man? I listen to what you talking. Urban style. I just feel like you.
You good?
Yeah, we're done.
Alright, that's it.
We close it out. All right, we'll see you next week. Bing bang, ski ski boom, ski boating, bang.